Hello guys, have you ever played a chess game? You didn't play any chess piece, you didn't miss any tactical traps, but slowly your position just suffocated and you get lost? This is one of the most frustrating feelings in chess, and 90% of the time it happened due to a single reason that you completely ignored your pawn structure. Most intermediates and beginners treat pawn like shields or roadblockers, but Grandmaster knows a secret that pawns are skeleton of chess. In this video, I will teach you the hidden language of pawns. So let's go into it. First, establish a golden rule. If you push a pawn on board, you make a complete change on board. Why? Because pawns cannot move backward. If you misplace a knight or a bishop, you can waste a turn to bring them back. But if you misplace a pawn, it becomes complete weakness. You can never change your mind. Once a square is left behind, it becomes a completely weakness. Look at this. If this pawn d2 moves on d4, this covers e5 and c5 squares beautifully. But it can never cover e3 and c3 square. That's why pawn moves are considered most critical moves in chess game. Let's look up the 3 most pawn common shapes that you will see in your games. First up, the isolated pawns. These are the pawns that have no friendly pawns right next to their files. They are completely alone at their island. Because no other pawns can defend them, your pieces have to babysit it so that they doesn't get captured. If your opponent has an isolated pawns, so block it with the piece and attack over and over and force the opponent to give up. A backward pawn is a pawn that is stuck behind its friends and it cannot move safely ahead because the enemy pawn is guarding the square ahead of it. Look at this d2 pawn. Its ahead d3 is completely empty and unprotected. If the enemy lands a knight on it, then it becomes a monster and then we can't kick away that monster. Here is the best structure, the pawn chain. This is a diagonal line of pawns where each pawn is safely defended by one another. And the pawn at very front e5 is known as the head of pawn chain, and the pawn at very back b2 is known as the base. And here is the secret strategy. If you have to chop down the pawn chain, you have to attack at the base, not to attack at the front because it's too strong. If you chop down the base, the whole structure falls like a house of cards. Look at this position. Notice which way the pawn chains are pointing. The white pawns are pointing towards queen side and the black pawns are pointing towards king side. This is your roadmap. Your pawns are literally telling you where to play. White should launch an attack towards queen side of black and black should launch an attack towards king side of white. Stop guessing where to play, just follow the pawn chains. The next time you play a chess game, pause before making a random pawn push. Ask yourself, am I creating a weakness? Am I making a pawn isolated or backward? Or am I suffocating my position? Thank you.